All right, ma'am. First things first. Am I audible? Ma'am, sir, am I audible?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes, thank you. How about my presentation, doctor? Can you see my presentation?
Yeah.
Is my presentation clear?
Yes, Sir Tanyel.
Yes, it's
Just
clear.
All right,
proceed.
thank you, doctor. All right. Second, thank you for that very lovely introduction and very comprehensive introduction. So, allow me to greet you. Good day to everyone. Salamat siang semuanya in Indonesia. It is a genuine honor to join you all in this International Lecture Series 2025 and to stand here alongside distinguished colleagues, researchers, and educators from UPGRIS Indonesia, as well as my home institution, the Mariano Marcos State University. And of course, I think there are students who joined in this Zoom, and I am truly grateful for the opportunity to engage in meaningful academic exchange, share insights, and learn from these diverse community of scholars gathered here today. All right. My name is Nathaniel Dave Bigachalian, and an instructor of the College of Teacher Education. I have completed my bachelor degree here, major in Information and Communication Technology, a foundation that has continuously shaped my passion for merging technology with innovative teaching practices. Today, I am excited to share with you a topic that is both practical and forward-looking, one that you can apply immediately in your own classrooms. Our session will focus on designing engaging learning spaces using Canva AI code, powerful tools that can transform the way we create, present, and deliver learning experiences. My goal is to help you harness these technologies so you can make your learning environment more dynamic, interactive, and inspiring for your students. My topic for today, the title of my topic for today is Designing Engaging Learning Spaces, the Power of AI Code. As educators, before we dive in, let's set our goals today. This is our learning objectives. By the end of this session, you will be able to, number one, explain why modern learning spaces need to evolve. We'll discuss why static slides, flat PDFs, and non-interactive content no longer engage students the way they used to. Number two, demonstrate Canva AI to transform teaching materials. You will see live demonstration on how Canva AI can instantly generate designs, animations, and interactive elements that make lessons come alive. Number three is you're going to apply Canva AI plus code to create interactive learning activities. Through demonstrations and examples, you learn how to generate real activities like, for example, drag and drop, interactive visualizations, timers ready for classroom use. And the last one is we're going to integrate these tools into real classroom settings. Finally, we will connect everything back to your daily teaching, whether it's ICT, science, IT, or even elementary classroom, so you can immediately implement what you learned today. Think of this as your roadmap for this session. If by the end, you can tick off these four objectives, you leave fully equipped to design engaging, interactive, and meaningful learning spaces. Of course, before anything else, let's warm up your brains a bit with a modern, simple activity, which I call it the hook. So, on a scale of 1 to 5, how would you rate your classroom's level of engagement last week? No need to comment or unmute. Simply choose the number silently in your mind. I will give you 15 seconds to think or rate your classroom engagement. Your timer starts now. All right. Now reflect for a moment. What made it 2 or what made it 1? What kept it from being a 5? I think there are some of you who chose 1, 2, 3, or 4 or 5. Was it the content, the tools used, or perhaps the delivery? What number you choose, that becomes your starting point. So by the end of this session, my goal is for you to be able to raise that number, maybe not be a perfect 5 right away, but to something higher, something better, something that moves your teaching forward with confidence, because the strategies and tools I'll be sharing today are designed for real classroom. Just like ours, classrooms with diverse learners, limited time, and the ever challenges that we all face as educators. So, the passive trap. One of the biggest challenges we face as educators is what I like to call it the passive trap. The students are looking, but they are not truly learning. So that's static slides. Think back to a time when you presented PowerPoint presentation, like for example, on me, parts of a computer. You carefully explain what's the meaning of CPU, RAM, or storage, or other components. Students nodded along, took notes, and seemed to understand. But the next week, when you asked them, most of them had forgotten almost everything. Why? Because this isn't a reflection of your teaching ability. It's not about the effort or knowledge. It's a structural issue in the way learning is happening. The content itself is accurate and well prepared, but the environment and delivery aren't engaging enough to make the knowledge stick. So, when we talk about creating an engaging learning space, we're not simply referring to slides that look beautiful or layouts that are aesthetically pleasing. Engagement goes far deeper than that. It is scientific, it is psychological, it is connected to the way the human brain pays attention, process meaning, and stores information for long-term use. So today, I want to break down the core principles behind true effective learning spaces. Principles we will be applying as we build with Canva AI and code. First is the active learning. The brain is not designed to learn passively. Am I correct? If learners simply sit and watch, the retention rate drops dramatically. But the moment you ask them to do something, whether it's clicking, dragging, selecting, moving, or manipulating object on the screen, their brain becomes alert and that the students pays attention. It starts making connections. It starts encoding memories. So the rule is simple. The more interaction, the stronger the learning. Every small actions, like dragging an icon to the correct position, can significantly boost retention. Second one is responsive interaction. Think about how the brain reacts to feedback. When a learner performs an action, the brain expects of confirmation or correction. For example, imagine a student dragging the label CPU onto the diagram of a computer system. If they're right, the label might glow green or lock into place. If they're wrong, a subtle hint appears guiding them toward the correct answer. This instant feedback response creates a powerful learning loop. The brain loves clarity. The brain loves direction. And responsive interaction give learners a sense of momentum. They feel guided rather than judged. That's why, in our case as teachers, providing immediate feedback is really important, but make it to a point that if you're going to provide feedback, it should be sandwich feedback. You make it to a point that it's positive and coupled with negative and then positive. Next one is the third one is the personalized feedback. One of the biggest mistakes in education is generic feedback like incorrect or correct. When we personalize the response, something like, look again at the main processing component you're close, or I think one of the computer ports that you have navigated is wrong, like that. We change the learning experience entirely. This type of feedback does two things. It explains what to consider and it keeps the learner emotionally engaged because people learn better when the feedback feels human, supportive, and actionable, and it is realistic. Number four is the visual cognitive support. Modern learners are highly visual now because in the 21st century, we consider our learners as visual learners. The brain processes images faster than text. Why? Because up to 60,000 times faster, according to cognitive research. So when we show the animation of data moving from storage, RAM, or CPU, we're not just decorating a slide. We're giving the brain a visual map. And lastly, we have the low cognitive load. The brain is powerful, but it has limits on how much information it can handle at once. If we put long paragraphs, dense explanations, or cluttered visuals on a slide, the learner brain gets overwhelmed. That's why simplicity is beauty, as they say. It's shut down or it simply stops paying attention. But when our design is clean, structured, and well-paced, the brain relaxes. It becomes more open, more curious, and more capable of absorbing new information. Because good design is not just about aesthetic appearance. It's about reducing cognitive friction so learning becomes effortless. Because we're not just making slides in our presentation. We're not just making activities. We are crafting learning experiences that align with how the brain naturally learns and loves to learn. Next one is why code matters. Now let's answer a very fundamental question. Why are we even talking about code in a lecture about pedagogy and engagement? Why code matters in teaching? Because it sounds unusual at first, right? Most people think coding belongs to IT departments, while pedagogy belongs to educators. But in modern digital learning, these two worlds are no longer separate. They are deeply connected. Why? The reason is simple. Code is the engine behind dynamic learning experiences. It is the invisible force that transform a static slide into an interactive environment. It is what turns passive content into active engaging, responsive learning. So when we say HTML, it gives a structure, while HTML is also the backbone. Without it, there is no order, no arrangement, no foundation to build on. When we say CSS, it is similar to classroom design and decoration. It determines the colors, the atmosphere, the feel of the room. Is it the visuals are calming, bright, or motivating? And when we say CSS, it sets the tone. Because here, you're going to select the colors, the aesthetic appearance, influence the mood of learners. The last one is the JS or the JavaScript. Because here, it creates interaction, which is basically your teaching strategies. This is where the magic happens. Interaction is like asking questions, guiding discussions, giving immediate feedback, and prompting participation. We use code because we want learning to be dynamic. We want learning to be interactive. We want learning to be responsive. We want learning to be personalized. And we want learning to be cognitively engaging. That's why code matters. When we combine these three, this CSS, this HTML, this JSS, we are creating experiences to students. Because when structured design and interaction work together, something powerful happens. The content becomes clearer, the visuals become more meaningful, and the interaction makes the learning feel alive. Why it matters in pedagogy? Because it makes the learning dynamic. It converts abstract to concrete. It builds exploration-based learning. And it empowers teaching to customize experiences. There are benefits to students. Number one, students participate more. When lessons are interactive, learners are no longer passive observers. They click, they drag, they explore, they test ideas, and make decisions. Participation stops being a requirement and it becomes natural response to engaging design. Next one is learning becomes active. Active learning is not just a trend. It is a neurological advantage. When students do something, even a simple action, their brain forms stronger connections. They're not just hearing the lesson, they are experiencing it. Next one is concepts becomes visual. Abstract ideas suddenly have shape, color, and movement. Processes becomes animations. System becomes diagrams that students can manipulate. And next one is retention improves. When learning is active and visual, memory doesn't fade as quickly. Students recall the experience, not just the text. And the more senses involved in the learning process, the stronger the retention becomes. Next one is students feel more confident. Interactive feedback allows students to try, fail safely, adjust, and succeed. Instead of being told they're wrong, they're guided toward understanding. This builds confidence, reduces anxiety, and encourages a growth mindset. Now, guys, in the Canva AI code, there is a basic workflow. We have here the describe. You start by clearly defining what you want your students to learn. Like, for example, drag and drop activity to label computer parts. Next one is submit. We will explore it later on. I will demonstrate it later on. Next one is submit. Input your description into Canva AI. It will generate visual layouts or even code snippets based on your instructions. Third one is preview. Check the output. Is it accurate? Is it clear? Is it engaging? This is your chance to see if it works the way you imagine. Next one is refine and publish or share. Now let's proceed to how to generate AI for Canva. So in here, of course, number one is that goal. You need to set the goal. Start with a single sentence. Describe the activity, what the activity is and what it's for. Example, create an interactive quiz for grade 9 students to identify computer parts. Next is output format. Specify the container. Tell Canva what type of activity you want. Should it be website? Should it be flashcards? Should it be timeline? Or should it be a card? This gives Canva the right container to build in. Next one is the core features. List 3 to 6 essential interactive elements. Do you need navigation, like for example, next or preview? Do you need randomized questions? Do you need feedback? Do you need to save the functionality? Because this ensures your activity works like a real classroom tool. Next one is, we have here, Next one is, we have here, number 4, the content examples. Give concrete example of what should appear. For instance, sample questions, provide me questions. Provide me timelines, provide me flashcards, because this helps Canva generate relevant content instead of generic placeholders. Number 5 is style and constraints. Specify your visual style. Should it be colorful and simple? Is it necessary to put colors? Should it school friendly? Should it be mobile optimized? Is it accessible for all students? Because this ensures the result is visual appealing and practical. And number 6 is the user experience and behaviors. Finally, describe your user experience features. Should the students see their score? Should I need to be transparent? Can they retry the quiz? Should items be shuffled? Because this makes activity fully interactive and classroom ready. Now, let's proceed to the demonstration. Okay. Just for the sake of demonstration, I will be utilizing Canva. Okay. One of the features of Canva is the Canva AI code. Can you see my screen, ma'am, sirs?
Yeah, you can see clearly.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for your response. Okay. I know you are already familiar with Canva. Some of us use this to create posters. Some of us use this to create presentations. Some of us to use this to create certificates. But ma'am, sirs, this Canva has already a new feature, which is the Canva AI. Because now, what is AI again, ma'am, sirs? When we say AI, artificial intelligence. And this artificial intelligence is already part of our system, and we cannot eliminate it. But of course, for us to be able to embrace this AI, or we call it the artificial intelligence, make it to a point that we are responsible in using it. Okay? So one of the feature of it is the Canva AI. You just click this one and you can create a website. Example is, in Canva AI, you can see here design, image, doc, code, and video clip. Now we're going to utilize this code. But of course, for us to be able, sometimes when we use code, we are we are we are we are difficult in creating codes. But in Canva AI, we just going to generate a prompt. I will use this one as a prompt here. Number 1 is animate. Create a mobile-friendly interactive visualization of computer data flow, storage, RAM, CPU. Include animation showing data moving in real time, and add labels and tooltips explaining each component. The style is bright, simple, mobile-friendly, output as a shareable website. Now guys, let's try to generate it. Okay, let's try. The Canva AI is already generating. Okay, let's just wait to generate, guys. It's already, already providing codes. We just provided a prompt. Okay. This is a little bit lengthy, guys, because it's generating. Okay. All right. Now let's try to see the output. You observe this is already the output. If you will click this one, there is a definition or description or feature of storage, RAM, and CPU. Let's try to use this animation. It's already running. See? It's animating. It's because we put here, create a mobile-friendly interactive visualization of computer data flow. So the storage are flowing to the RAM, going to CPU. It's moving, it's real time. And there is a label. You can pause and you can reset. Okay, now let's try to add. Can we customize it? Of course, yes, we can customize this one. So we add another one, interactive exercise. We just go as if, say, we already created a prompt here. Using the previous animation as context, create a drag and drop activity for students to identify the main computer hardware parts, CPU, RAM, storage, motherboard. Include instant feedback, a reset button, and hints if the placement is incorrect. Style is colorful, simple, school-friendly, output as a shareable website. Now let's try to generate. Okay, this is version 1, guys. After this, after generating this, it will be a version 2. Okay, it's generating the code. Okay, let's just wait for a moment. I do hope you are learning, ma'am and sirs. Okay. So if you want to customize, you can do it. This is not only applicable to ICT or IT. You can also use it in science, in other field of subjects or courses. All right. Okay, I think we're okay. This is now the version 2. So in here, we put a drag and drop activity. So let's try. Oh, it's wrong. RAM slots. Yes, I got it correct. And another one, motherboard. Okay, it's correct. How about when I put storage to the CPU? It's wrong. So the students can answer. So it is now interactive because it provides immediate feedback. That's what the students needs now, an immediate feedback. And then they can reset the game because we generate here reset button. So they can reset the game. Okay? Now the last one is the classroom management tool. How about I want to put a timer, a 1-minute timer. Okay. I want to put a progress bar. And I want to put a pop-up message which puts congratulations. Okay. Example. Let's try to generate. Okay. Oh, it's okay. You've reached our, so I'm using a free since, yeah. So you can use this one if your Canva is in premium. Okay. So after that, if you're done doing this, you can publish it, and then you can publish it, and you can change the site. Example is computer hardware or learning game, and then publish. After that, it prepares your website. Okay, and then you can view now the website. So if you can view the website already, you can send the link to your students, and then they can answer it. This is applicable if your classes are shift into flexible learning. Yeah. So that's the demonstration on how to use the Canva AI. Now let's proceed to my conclusion. Okay? Just for a moment. Okay. Now, okay. Before we close, here's a 3-point checklist I use every time I design lessons with Canva AI code. In here, tip 1 is clarity first, reflect, build confidence, teach students to troubleshoot as yourself. The students should learn to troubleshoot and experiment. Scaffold them gently. Don't solve every glitch for them. This builds independence and deeper understanding. Next one is tip 3, reflect and adjust. After the lesson, ask yourself, did the technology save me time? Did it help students learn better? If the answer is no, adjust. Technology is only useful when it enhances learning, not just for show. Technology alone will never transform a classroom. I would like to uh, give you a thought to ponder. Technology alone will never transform a classroom, but a fearless teacher who knows how to use it can transform a generation. As we conclude, reflect on this. Technology is not a merely tool. It doesn't teach by itself. It doesn't inspire by itself. And it doesn't engage by itself. What matters is how you as an educator choose to use it. Every animation, every interactive activity, every carefully planned feature is a step forward empowering your students, making learning vivid and leaving a lasting impression. The ultimate goal is that no student is left behind. Every learner deserves a chance to participate, understand, and succeed. By designing lessons that are inclusive, engaging, and meaningful, we ensure that every student, regardless of background, pace, or learning style, feels seen, supported, and capable of achieving their best. So step forward with courage, experiment, innovate, and create learning experiences that inspire, engage, and transform. Because when we teach intention, care, and creativity, every student moves forward and none are left behind. Maraming salamat po, Terima Kasi, and thank you very much. That's the end of my presentation.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kechalian. It's very interesting that I myself usually use Canva as doing something to image, only image and then presentation like PowerPoint. And today's presentation, your presentation, make me open my eyes that there are many feature of Canva, especially Canva AI. Okay, maybe I will try it later. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Kechalian, for the insightful presentation.
Thank
Okay,
you.
now we move to our second speaker. Our next speaker is Mrs. Indri. Mrs. Indri? Okay, okay. Okay, I will. Okay, thank you, Mrs. Indri.
Already present our
Okay,
material.
thank you.
For
I
20 minutes.
will read your curriculum vitae. Yeah. Our next speaker is Mrs. Theodora Indriati Wardani, ESCOM MPDM-Com. She holds a bachelor degree in information system, a master's degree in education, and a master's degree in information systems. She is active in professional organization, including the Indonesian Teacher Association and the Indonesian Fellowship of Scout and Guides. Mrs. Indri has an extensive track record in research and community service, with numerous publications in areas such as computer education, digital media, augmented reality, web-based application, and instructional design. She has also produced several intellectual property works, including digital books, teaching materials, and educational media. Her contributions span national and international seminars, journals, and community development programs, particularly focusing on digital learning, technology integration, and innovative instructional materials. Today, she will be presenting the topic the use of electronic bulletin board magazine as part of website-based graphic design to disseminate information. Okay, Mrs. Indri, the screen is yours.
Good afternoon. I'm sorry this trouble of the tactics for sharing our material. Okay. Good afternoon. Before I present my material on international lecture, I will introduce myself. My name is Indriyati Wardani. I teach as lecturer in the Information Technology Education study program for the subject of graphic design and human-computer interaction. The honorable participant of the International Journal, on this occasion, I will present material on the use of electronic board magazine as part of website graphic design to disseminate information for 30 minutes. This bulletin board magazine is part of web-based graphic design is a way to disseminate information more attractively and efficiently, as it combines visual graphic design elements with the wide reach and accessibility of website platforms. It also helps develop digital literacy skill, creativity, and critical thinking among content creators and readers. And I will explain about the utilization of electronic bulletin boards magazine. First, attractive information dissemination. Graphic design makes content such as announcements, news, and other information visually more appealing and easier to understand for readers compared to conventional bulletin boards magazine. And then a medium for self-expression and creativity. It allows students and other users to express their creativity through writing, graphic design, and other art forms such as poetry, articles, or even humor. Second part of our slides, and then graphic design aspect in electronic bulletin boards magazine have a structured and interactive experience. The graphic design have organized information with a more structured, modern, and visually appealing layout. And then use of visual element. The use of visual elements such as images, icon, and proper layout helps strengthen the message being delivered. And then design flexibility. The design can be more flexible and easily integrated with social media or other platforms, enabling wider dissemination of an information. And then media online digital literacy function as a cross-subject learning medium because it involves aspects of language, technology, arts, and critical thinking, and this improves student digital literacy skill. The subject of material in school or university usually the material often to teach by teacher or lecturer, so that they make of design of electronic bulletin board magazine for school, university, or community or organization. And then efficiency and sustainability reduce paperwork costs of conventional bulletin boards and can be updated in real time through a website platform. And accessibility information can be accessed anytime and anywhere by user who have internet access, whether through computer or mobile device. And then appearance of bulletin board magazine conventional on an electronic bulletin boards magazine of website base. You can see on left side as experience that conventional wall magazine still often access their materials to the board using paper, stickers, colored pencil, and markers, which is the time consuming, labor intensive and expensive, and generates words will not not utilizing an application for their creation. On Rexset is a brand that electronic bulletin board magazine made with the Canva application and Google Set. But Google Set use for website to design for electronic bulletin board magazine. So the experience is very attractive and has a website link so everyone can open and read it. Okay, these are practicals. You can step. I will explain practical and skillful step to design a website-based electronic bulletin boards magazine. This step can be applied to projects in school, universities, or organization. Number one, I will explain about its analysis. Determine the main purpose of the electronic bulletin magazine, whether it is to deliver information, publish certain works, promote activities, or serve as an educational medium. And you must identify the target user and create leads acquired features such as new photos, galleries, measurement schedule, on an opinion column. Number two, you must planning the concept and content structure. Design the main section or categories like new articles, student works, event announcement, and gallery. And then development hierarchical page structure such as home, editorial profile, section page, decision archive, contact, or session form. On Rexset, you can see about part of home and activities menu and contact as menu. Number three, perform technology selection. Choose a website development platform according to needs and technical ability. We use Google Set, WordPress with a Blogger, easy to use, not coding required. So the domain and hosting if a professional appearance is desired. You will make this design and then you have result of the link for this website for electronic bulletin boards magazine. And then number four, user interface design. Can create a wireframe or page layout sketch using Canva. Electronic bulletin board magazine use of most important to design like use Canva and then define the main interface element. We like must to make of header, slider, bar, and footer, and use a consistent grid layout to maintain a clean and organized appearance. Number five, visual style determination. Use style for determination to design. Maybe you must to choose about to main color and use readable typography and use consistent icon and illustration to maintain a professional look and use high resolution image of times for web to avoid slowing down the site. First, number six, page template creation. You must think of design templates for each page type of new article template, profile or section template, gallery or announcement template. And then number seven, content collection and processing. Gather text, images, and infographic from contributors or the internal team. Edit the language and layout to ensure consistency. Ensure every content item include a short, a brief summary, supporting images, and publication date and other name. Number eight. Website implementation. You must build the site according to the established design, add menus, link internet, and navigation buttons. Test all link, images, and page display before publication. So because your website contains of the bulletin boards magazine will open and see by netizen. And then number 9, testing and validation. Test responsiveness on desktop, tablet, and smartphone. Check accessibility, color, contrast, text size, images. And explore user to test the site and provide feedback. And then publication and promotion for number 10, publish the website using the official domain or the school subdomain. Share the link through social media, WhatsApp groups, or digital bulletin boards. Because this website have link or URL. Even maintenance and regular updates. Create a content publishing schedule for weekly or monthly, and assign a management team. You must have a team for to design and compose of material for a bulletin board magazine, like editor, designer, and web administration. And must regularly back up data and updated plugin or templates when necessary. And last, evaluation and further development. Use visitor counters to monitor visitor number and online submission of work. And next slide, I will explain the process of information dissemination of website-based electronic bulletin boards magazine to the netizen. Number 1, planning the information dissemination strategy. Before the electronic bulletin boards is released to the public, a digital communication strategy needs to be designed to ensure the message effectively reach the target audience. These steps include determining the communication objectives, identifying the main audience, and establishing the key message to be delivered in its edition. Number 2, publishing concept of website-based electronic bulletin boards magazine is to process. Second process, the stage marks the starting point of the information dissemination process. Apply basic search engine optimization techniques such as keywords, so netizen can find your website. Is content of electronic bulletin board magazine. Articles are given attractive titles, brief description, and supporting images to grab readers' attention, and content such as new article, infographic is uploaded to the electronic bulletin boards magazine website. And then distribution through supporting digital channels. After the content is published on the website, the next step to share the links across various digital platforms to reach a wider audience via social media, community and chat groups, and official institution website and portal. And then analysis and monitoring of dissemination. The next step is to monitor of effectiveness of information dissemination. Use analytic tools to measure the rates and impact of the publication. You must state of visitor counters and the function to view the number of visitor traffic, source popular articles, and visit duration. And then maintenance and regular updates to keep the bulletin boards magazine attractive and relevant. Must update content regularly, weekly new, monthly edition, or new creative work. Use different design theme or each edition to avoid monotony and archive previous edition so new editor can still access them. Re-promote others content during relevant event or anniversaries. Impact and sustainability of electronic bulletin boards magazine of website base. With consistent dissemination, the electronic bulletin boards magazine can increase the digital visibility of the institution, serve as an official and reliable source of information for school or campus communities, encourage student participation in digital literacy activities, and build a positive public image of institution among netizens. And the future challenge of website-based digital bulletin boards magazine in school, universities, and organization or community. Number one, consistency of contents updates. The best challenge is keeping the contents fresh and relevant. Number two, technical maintenance and website security. And challenges include updating plugin and templates, preventing cyber attacks, handling server or hosting disruption that make the site inability. And number three, design and user experience. The future challenge lies in adapting to modern UI UX trends while maintaining the institution visual identity. And then number four, multi-device accessibility. The challenge for all bulletin boards magazine managers is ensuring that the website is responsive and comfortable to view on all screen size. On reader participant interaction, the challenge to encourage users to actively participate, not just read. And then competition with social media, the challenge for electronic bulletin board magazine is to find relevant and appealing format to remain competitive. Number seven, data analytics and trend adoption. The challenge ahead to utilize visitor data and to optimize content strategies. Number eight, limited human resource and funding. The challenge is maintaining continuity despite frequent editorial staff turnover. And number nine, updating to emerging technologies. The main challenge is how to integrate these new technologies without losing simplicity and accessibility. And 10, digital literacy and information ethics. The first challenge is to educate editorial teams and contributors to avoid unethical practices or the spread of misinformation and hoaxes. Website-based digital bulletin boards magazine have a promising future, provided they can adapt to technological development and reader needs. However, their success level depends on consistency, system security, reader interactivity, and continuous innovation capability. This for example for electronic bulletin board magazine use website Google Site. You can see here this home, and you see of the visitor counters. This visitor counters. Visitor counters. The function of visitor counters on a website is to record and display the number of users who access a particular page or the entire site. More specifically, its function include when identifying the number of website visitors, measuring website popularity or traffic. 3, content evaluation and development. 4, increasing website credibility. Number 5, analyzing visitor behavior and monitoring website performance. This home or beranda or home on beranda. And then second menu is content, save contents of activities menu. We can compose of the bulletin board magazine. This for months, news, entertainment. You can design and draw with Canva application software. And then contact us. This organization selected staff to compose of the electronic bulletin boards magazine. Okay. Mas. Okay, this sorry. Share. Ini
Nah,
anu,
itu kita
ya.
yang ini ya sampai yang
Ini,
ya
ini
ya
share. Sebentar, nggak bisa.
stop share.
Share nggak bisa. Share ya. Ya, terus ini gimana masuknya?
Oke, share.
Terakhir. Oke, for example, for senior high school, this appearance of electronic bulletin boards magazine for senior high school. Name of Hikari for they collects of the activities for months. And then about organizer have designed by student university like this, and you can see free visitor counters for checks the visitor orientation. Sorry. Hah?
Itu kertasnya itu.
Ini. Ya. Okay, I will share our material for how to create of the electronic bulletin boards. Ini close. Ini. We have 2 hours of training on various digital bulletin boards magazine for the Istria Ed community Semarang for April 2024. Okay, thank you very much. I'm very sorry if the difficult to operate of this slide before control of time is not good here. Thank you very much. I will finish our presentation. The use of electronic bulletin boards magazine is part of website best grade design to submit information for this evening. Thank you very much. See you again. Stop.
Okay, thank you so much, Mrs. Indri, for the excellent presentation. And before we move to the QA session, we kindly remind to all participants to fill out the attendance link that provided in the chat box. Please make sure that you complete it, as it will be used for documentation and e-certificate distribution. Thank you for your cooperation. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we now open the Q&A session. You may raise your hand or type your questions in the chat box. And we have 15 minutes for discussion. Okay, would you please raise your hand or you can drop in the chat box. Okay, don't be shy to ask your question. Okay, we have a question from Reggie Boy Fabro. Okay, you can unmute your microphone and go ahead.
Good afternoon, Ma'am Yayan. Thank you for the
Good
recognition.
afternoon.
I was actually raising my virtual hand.
Okay.
This question goes to Dr. Indriati. Good afternoon, Dr.
Okay,
Indriati.
this is Indri. You have a question.
Okay. What design principles should be applied to web-based graphic designs for electronic bulletin board magazines to ensure they are visually engaging and accessible for diverse students?
Okay, Miss Indri, are you gonna answer directly or we keep and then we will answer later?
Okay. The student have learned of Canva application to design of the electronic bulletin boards. That's like appearance of bulletin boards conventional, and then they try to make design like conventional, become and make design with Canva application, and like prototype or in Indonesian translate tier 1 prototype. And then after this design of the use bulletin boards, they can start to Google Site, and Google Site have a template picture and for text, and then they can the concept first, and then compose of materials, and then start to this website Google Site. The student university learns this make design with Canva application which easily because they have a concept of the Canva and Google website. So they have challenge to create and develop of this electronic bulletin boards magazine, maybe for organization or community or school or university on their activities in their campus. They make the design of attractive so they can share this information on the bulletin board magazine digital to netizen by link they share by WhatsApp, TikTok, Facebook, or other LinkedIn. So the netizen can be read and they understand what is important information, what is the contents of the electronic boards magazine electronic.
Is it a clear explanation for
The student on difficulty student have learned these electronic bulletin boards on design graphic and human interaction computer. So they can easily to easier to design and make of creativity, improvement electronic board magazine and share to publics on netizen. Other that's it. That's all.
Okay, it is such clearly explanation. Mr. Reggie, is it clear? Or maybe
Mr.
something else or any questions more?
Hello?
Mr. Reggie?
Yes, thank you. That is enough for me.
Okay, thank you,
Have a
Mr.
great
Reggie. Okay, we have still 2 minutes for other question. Is there other question? Maybe I have a question for Mr. Kechalian because I'm very interested of the topic that we can use Canva AI. We can build a website that is free. Only we write the right prompt. Uh, is it the website? Maybe it can we can harness it lifetime or maybe any apa ya? Is it limited or lifetime website that we can build it in Canva AI? Hello, Mr.
Yes.
Neta. Mr.
Hello,
Yeah,
ma'am.
yes.
All right, ma'am.
Miss Indri,
Maybe they are not on the create of
sorry,
electronic
Miss
bulletin
Indri.
boards, yes. Maybe constraining for programs that support necessary for long-term success to make and design electronic boards magazine.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Indri. This time is for Mr. Kachalian to answer the question. Thank you.
All right, ma'am. To answer your question, ma'am, that's really a great question, ma'am, because Canva AI is free to use with your Canva free account. And yes, the interactive websites or activities you publish through Canva will stay online for as long as you keep your Canva account active, ma'am. And then they don't expire, they don't get erased automatically, and you can update them anytime. If you edit the design, then the publish link also updates and no need to republish it. Yes, it's free. Yes, the published website stays online. Yes, you can edit it anytime. And no, it won't doesn't appear if you're going to delete the file yourself. So if you're going to delete the file, then probably the website will disappear or it will not be inactive.
Okay.
That's my answer to your question now.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. It's such a clear explanation. Thank you so much to all speaker, Mr. Nathaniel and Mrs. Indri. Okay, and the time is running out for Q&A session. And thank you to all participants for the engaging discussion. And now we proceed to the certificate handling session for our two speakers. Okay, we kindly request the operator to display the certificate. Is it ready? Okay, the first certificate is for Mrs. Indri. And for Mr. Nathaniel Dev B. Kechalian. Okay, thank you for your valuable contribution to this collaborative lecture series. Thank you so much, Mr. and Mrs. Okay, before we officially close, let's take a group photo together for documentation. I kindly ask everyone to turn on your cameras and smile for our group photo. Okay, how many slides we have? Okay. Um, I will count to three and give your best smile. Okay, for first slide. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Smile. And next slide. 3, 2, 1. Smile. Okay, we go to the next slide. 3, 2, 1. Smile. Okay, that's all. Okay, we come to the end of today's session, and I would like to thank all distinguished speakers, participants, and the organizing teams from UPLIS and MMSU for making this event meaningful. We would also like to inform you that the next session of our lecture series will be held tomorrow, 18th November at the same time, and we look forward to your participation. Thank you once again for your attendance and active engagement. Have a wonderful afternoon and see you tomorrow. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Everyone.
Thank you very much for Mrs. Yayan. Thank you very much for Sir Nathaniel and Mrs. Indri for the great presentation. And I hope we can see you again in the next event and collaborate maybe in the future in research or in academic events. And we still have another two series tomorrow and on Wednesday. So I hope I can see all of you again on the next session. Goodbye. Thank you very much.